So talk about sort of a dual video here, because there's a couple things I wanted to update on with this whole Eric July Rippaverse stuff with the Isom lawsuit, as well as some interesting stuff that came to light regarding the artwork in the first Rippaverse comic book. The artwork issue is that allegedly there were 3D assets used across this book. Now, a few examples of this have been put online that I'm going to put up here in this video. These are basically things like a truck that were clearly just traced into existence and then had stuff added over top of it, as well as some castles and foreground items that appear to be shambled together by using different assets and items. And this is something very interesting that I think people just sort of glazed over. I mean, people assumed there was good artists working on the book and people wouldn't be doing this, but really this all came to light because of the discovery that these sort of art agencies overseas were being utilized to produce artwork, including cartoons and things like this that were used in the marketing for the Isom series and other Rippaverse projects. And so this is really interesting because it shows that really all that's really going on here is a bunch of offshore artists that work cheap or being paid, probably on a contract basis. I don't know, and no one really knows those details except for Eric. But it is interesting nonetheless to see that a book that raised this much money, that brought in this much cash, was made this poorly. That was made with artwork that you can literally get for free on asset websites. And those tweets sort of came and went, but as I go through stuff even today, I've seen people referencing it anytime I've seen people bringing up Isom now on Twitter posts. Again, it's something that's been added to the zeitgeist within this whole drama that's played out. Now, in the lawsuit side of things, we saw something interesting, which was new court documents. They're going to be on screen here now. There were extensions granted within the court because Eric July is going back to the negotiation table with Isom Ministries to negotiate a settlement. So keep this in mind. Eric July, the guy who made the video we all watched, basically calling these guys fake Christians, talking about how this was an easy lawsuit for him to win because this was a family name, is now going to immediately settle that case. And so what will that entail? Well, I'm going to have a lawyer on soon to sort of talk about what that'll probably entail, but I think we all know at this point that it's going to mean financial gain for the Isom Ministries. This either means they're going to get a cut of all future projects that bear things that involve their trademark, meaning the name, and then they're going to get a cut of cash from the stuff that was already released. It also might mean that they put restrictions on what can be done in the comic books regarding their name and character. And this is where you get to the suggestion part. People have made this suggestion constantly, and it was made on a live stream I was on just a few days ago. But it is in Eric's invested interest at this point to rename his comic book series to something else. Stop using the Isom name and do it sooner than later. Get the ball rolling now. And that might be why he wants to settle and get this done with. But it goes against what he said in his video, which I think is something that people should point out. The entire thing is an interesting piece to this whole as the Rippaverse turns that people have been sort of revolving around, myself included, sort of reacting to this stuff as it happens. But it's certainly crazy, and it's certainly interesting to see play out. I think that at this point, the lawsuit is most likely going to get settled, and Eric will basically play it off because that settlement will be private, that he won the case somehow, which we all know won't be the case. At the end of the day, this guy either created this thing by not even researching the trademarks that were owned by other people, or he deliberately created the thing knowing that the trademarks were owned by somebody else and he thought he could get away with it. And this lawsuit and most likely settlement proves that to be the case. It wasn't because of some email that was sent by a random fan of Dick Masterson. That so much we know. And I've talked about that on this channel in previous videos you can go check out. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is just a short kind of update on that stuff. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Peace.